Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm applying a wet coat of our bleached sand. So we get a nice, juicy, thick coat. I'm just doing a section. So I'm going to sort of do one leg and halfway across. And we'll just continue and blend into them. So I've got a wet coat of bleached sand. I wipe my brush off. I'm going to just pick up Lush Green, and I have both Lush Green and Raw Umber on the brush. And I'm going to slip slap my way up. Slip slap is crisscross strokes, and just softly blend them into each other. I'm not concerned about my underneath. I may choose to paint it all solid a dark color or one of these colors, or I may slip slap it as well. Depends, but I would flip it upside down and do it as a bottom of a little table type thing. So again, I'll pick up my two colors and I'll slip slap into here. Now my bleach sand is beginning to dry as I go. So I would wipe my brush, pick up a bit more bleach sand, and just come back towards it. I want my colors on the top to be a little bit lighter than the bottom, by the bottom of the leg. So I'm going to wipe, and I'm just going to pick up my two colors again. It's just dab. It's whatever you get, you get. It just gives that nice mossy old green, but you see how I'm allowing it to be a little darker at the bottom? So that's our goal here. We're going to put it a little darker at the bottom. May have more brown, may have more green, and we'll just, that's how we go. So now I would wet coat again and work them together. That's our slip slapping. So it's going to end up, here we are in the end with this. This one's a little browner. This one is a little greener, and I think my original one might be a little bit greener as well. So it's up to you, it's your choice. I'm picking up on my 1/4 inch or number 8, Lush Green and Raw Umber. And then I'm going to dip my brush into blending gel. So I've got all that on here. I don't want to have my best brush. And I'm just going to pat my way out. Clean my brush off. And then I'm just going to use that dampened brush and slip slap our background. So it's going to just fade away. Right here, it's going to fade right underneath where our little round pincushion is going to go. So I don't have to worry too much about that edge. And I can just pick up gel as I go and slip slap this blended in edge. See how just softens the edge. I don't want to have a flat base coat in here or slip slap. I want to be able to see through it. I want it to be transparent. If you need to wipe your brush at any time, give it a clean off. Then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to pick up that mix that I did, brush mix on the palette. Raw Umber blending gel. I'm not so concerned if I get it on my base coated flowers. It is blending gel. So remember that blending gel makes your paint, or stain antiquing medium, whichever you're using, makes your paint transparent. So I can just take the gel, come back into here, soften that faded out area. So we just fade that away. I want the edge of my slip slapped area as I go around. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around. Same thing as I go. So it's just, you see that little bit of faded area. There it is there on the sides. It's pretty glistening looking. It'll dry down. That's the one thing about blending gel, is it's going to dry down. You can do this, and we will probably do this before we base coat, but we do want to have our pattern on. So again, I've just picked up gel and my mix, fade that away. So it just creates a little look of some foliage in the background. We're going to mimic this on our fabric with water. That's coming next. So it's just to slip slap that in there. I'll clean my brush off, get all the paint off, back into just plain gel, work my way from the outer edges back inwards. It almost gives it more of a leaf look when you're kind of pushing back and taking that back. All right, it's going to be a little easier to see when it's dry. Okay, so I've got my fabric and I've got it base coated where I want my flowers to be. This is going to be joining from our edge where they're on our block, and then this is going to be inner on our thing. So now I've base coated it, they've been dried, and now I'm taking water and I'm just misting it with a fine mist bottle. That's one of these fine mist bottles. I'm going to take, and I'm going to just pick up raw umber, lush green, create that same background misty that we had. And when I touch into this, now I have it thinned down a little bit, but it's more about creating. You see how this is going to bleed out into this water I've sprayed? We want this bleed out background to resemble the background that we slip slapped on our block. We used the gel and created our bleed out with the gel, and then this is creating our bleed out with the water. So absolutely impossible to create the same on any of them, but that's what we like about this. It's going to be able to give us, if I want to come in after with a little stronger paint, not as much water, I can kind of touch down, and these wet leaves will bleed out. That'll create more of our bleed. It's just, the whole thing is to give us the look of foliage in the background, but the stronger the paint is when I set it down here, when it bleeds out, it's going to give the illusion that we've got more leaves in the background. So the whole part here is to, yeah, there we go, slide off into the background. So right in the center, this is going to be, I don't want it to be too blank. So I'm just going to touch it with a little bit. Now remember, our needles are going to be in this. This is our pincushion. So it's okay if we have some left plain. We're going to add some tendrils. We're going to add some baby whites in there. And this is all going to get shaded as well. So this is setting in our background. If you do it and you think, oh, I'd like it a little foggier, a little misted more, if I spray it, it'll bleed more. See how as I spray, it bleeds out? So it just depends on what you're looking for. I can take a clean brush, so I can clean my brush off just to show you. I can clean my brush off, and I can just, you see, with just the clean brush, I can dip into that water and push that around as well. So it's just going to give a little bit more muted background. All right, so, and this just fades out. This is going to end up, a lot of it is going to be tucked under our disc for our pincushion. So just going to bleed that out. All right, so we're going to dry this and then we can start our shading.